Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Sarah, and today I would love to review this gorgeous wig for you, which is a handmade 100% human hair wig in collaboration with WIGSHE. Now, if you'd like to know how she looks straight out of the box when she arrives, and after I washed her, let her air dry, blow dried her, straightened her, and curled her, how she compares to the synthetic wigs I usually review, and how I like her, then stick around and let's get started. So this is my first human hair review and also my first sponsored review here on YouTube. And I'm really grateful that WIGSHE, the seller and manufacturer of these wigs, contacted me and asked me if I would like to review one of their wigs, and also sponsored this wig for me so I can show her to you. Now, I will have to mark this video as commercial, but of course it's still a review and not a commercial, since I am allowed to give you my review and opinion on this wig. And of course I'm going to be honest and tell you all the things I like and don't like about it, and I'm not influenced by the seller to tell you something. Now, the wig wasn't completely free for me, since I had to pay import fees, duties and taxes in a 3-digit number when it was imported to Germany. But nevertheless, it's a great bargain, and I'm grateful to the guys at WIGSHE to give this wig to me so I can share my thoughts on her. And by the way, if you're considering buying this one, check out the description box below, as they also gave me a discount code with which you will get 10% off your purchase, and the code is Better Hair, Better You, like the name of my channel, altogether no spaces. And I think this is really generous, and I would love if you used my discount code when you order, since I also get a small commission, and this will also support my channel. Since I usually only review synthetic wigs, I'm not the greatest expert on human hair wigs, but I can tell you I did my research with due diligence and try to get to know as much as I can about human hair wigs. And one of the sources I love watching is the channel Hey Wig Sister from my friend Denise Sheets, who really has a beautiful soul and gives all her heart and passion into passing on her knowledge to every one of us. If you haven't checked her out, I can really recommend her, and she tries on and reviews a lot of human hair wigs too, and I learned a lot from watching her channel. So thank you, Denise, for sharing. And although I don't have experience and other human hair wigs to compare this one to, I think I can tell you that this wig really has a great quality, and I'm really impressed and totally in love with the wig. Now, I will show her to you with different stylings, but decided to make the main part of this review with a very natural look. This is how she more or less air dries, and I also gave her a blowout and some lift, since I love volume and don't like it when they're super flat on top. I will show you how she arrives, how she looks straight out of the box, and what I did to her so far. But let's start with ordering this piece. Now, the wig is called WIG010 and is described as a luxury, light ash blonde, long straight, 100% human hair, invisible lace wig. And I can tell you all of this is true. Now, like with every human hair wig you order, the wig is customized and especially made for you. It's not like with the name brand wigs that they have everything in stock and you just order and it's shipped out. But the wig will be made especially for you and customized, so the whole process takes about 4 weeks before it's being shipped. Then, depending on the carrier, it will arrive at your place in no time, usually 2 to 3 days, if they use an express carrier. In my case, it got stuck at FedEx for a whole month for custom clearance, which really wasn't the fault of our customs, but of FedEx, which I really can't recommend. So if you can choose, use UPS or DHL Express instead if you are in Germany. I'm not sure how it is in other parts of the world, but my experience with FedEx is really a disaster. But back to the wig. This might give you an idea of how long it's going to take until you finally receive the wig. Now, when you order on their site, you have quite some choices. Now, first you can choose between 120% and 150% density. This one here is 120%. And I would call this a low density. Of course, right now she looks like much more with all the volume she has from the blowout, but really 120% is a low density. It's comparable to styles, for example, from Ellen Villain, like Cher, Code Mono, etc. And I would definitely also be comfortable wearing 150% density, although I must say you can always get volume even in a low density wig by styling it. Then you can choose between a lace front cap and a full lace cap. If you've only been wearing synthetic wigs and want to venture out into human hair wigs, This one right here is what they call a lace front cap. Now, comparing it to synthetic wigs, that means that it has a lace front that goes ear to ear and a complete full lace top, which is more or less the same as a monofilament top. You really have a wide padding space up here, so you can wear the part on either side or in the middle, and it will definitely look natural. Then the rest of the cap is wefted, which is fine with me. And you can also use a full lace cap, which is a completely hand-tied cap, but I guess you will definitely have to glue down the cap, and I'm not sure if it is wearable without gluing. Opposed to this one that WIGSHE calls a glueless unit, so I can definitely wear this without gluing it, and I'm not even wearing a wig grip or anything underneath, and it really sits securely. So unless fully hand-tied is something that is really important to you, I would suggest you go with the lace front cap. Then you can choose between lightly bleached and fully bleached knots. I chose lightly bleached knots, and I think the knots are great and totally invisible compared to what I've seen on synthetic wigs. These knots really are invisible. Now, if you choose fully bleached knots, what I've heard from other reviewers, they are not recommending fully bleached knots since the bleaching in some way attacks the knotting, and so the hairs might fall out and shed more, especially when you're washing it, etc., opposed to when you go for lightly bleached knots. And I think that really is enough, and I would recommend choosing lightly bleached knots. Now, the length I chose was 16 inches. I think it's available from 12 to 18 or 20 inches or even longer if you like that. And I think the 16-inch is enough to give her beautiful style. Now, you also can choose the size of the cap, and this is the only part I would do differently next time. I have a petite to average head size, and as always, you can find my measurements in the description box below. And since I always wear average size caps, of course, I also chose average. So normally average caps fit me beautifully, but in this case, I really had to cinch in the adjusters and almost crisscross them to get a secure fit without gluing it. And I would say the average cap on this one really runs on the large side. So if you also wear average caps, I think you can easily choose the petite cap, and it will fit you great and probably better than the average size. And even if you have a large head with a 23-inch circumference, you could easily choose the average size, and I'm sure this would fit you great. Now let's talk about the hair fiber. Like I said, I don't have any experience with other human hair wigs. I've only had some really cheap ones over 20 years ago, and I think a lot has happened since, and I can only talk about this one here. But let me tell you, these hair fibers are so extremely soft. It's really incredible. They are so smooth, and the best part is they don't tangle at all. I mean, when you're used to wearing long synthetic wigs, you know they will tangle no matter what you do. And of course, the main advantage of wearing human hair is that it won't tangle or will hardly tangle. Of course, even long human hair without a wig will tangle a bit depending on what you wear, but never as much as synthetic fibers. So if you love long hair, I can definitely recommend a human hair wig. This is so much fun. I could run my fingers through hair all the time. Which makes me think of Kim from Let's Talk with Kim, who said the exact same thing in her review. And I agree, it's really fun. I've been wearing this for a couple of hours now, and it didn't tangle a bit. Now, as far as I know, this is Remy human hair, which means that the cuticle is intact and they knotted all the fibers in the same direction the hair grows, which means that it hardly tangles at all and it will stay beautiful very long. It also means that it's a good quality of hair. Now, WIGSHE is referred to as a budget or budget-friendly retailer, and of course, these wigs really aren't expensive for what you get. And unfortunately, I can't tell you how those really luxurious, very expensive human hair wigs feel, but from what I know is that the very expensive fibers will dry differently, and if you get a straight wig, it will also dry straight. That's what I've heard. But since I really love these natural waves, and of course you can straighten and curl them as you like, I really don't mind how they dry after washing. But I can definitely tell you that these fibers are gorgeous. Now, talking about the color, this is called a light ash blonde with a darker root. And I know, and from what I've seen, that bleaching dark hair is really difficult and quite of an art form. So achieving such a beautiful blonde and a great root with a fabulous transition really isn't easy. And I think they did a really great job with this. Now, comparing the color to a synthetic wig, This color really reminds me most of the 613 1001 R18 from Tressador, which I have shown you before on the style Picture Perfect. I think it's a very creamy platinum with a medium brown root that isn't too dark, and I think it's really done beautifully. Now, I think after washing it for the first time, it's not as ashy as it was when it arrived, since I got the tip from other reviewers that you always should wash a human hair wig first when you receive it. That's what I did, and I can tell you there really was a lot that came out of that wig when I washed it. The water really turned dark brown, so I think the color may be a tiny bit less ashy than when it arrived. But you know, this is the easiest task. You can always use some purple shampoo. You can use the same products as on your own bleached hair to get it more ashy. But all in all, I really love this color. It's beautifully bright, and they did a great job on coloring that wig. Now, when she arrives, I also really love the packaging. You get a beautiful wrapped box with a magnetic lid and a cute bow around it. They also included a really nice thank you card, and the wig itself is stored in a gorgeous satin bag that you can of course use for storing it. And as a bonus, you also get a scrunchie if you'd like to put her in a ponytail, and they also include a wig grip with a lace insert for the perfect natural part. I really think the whole packaging as well as the wig has a great quality for that bargain price, and nothing about it is cheap. So if you're a little hesitant about ordering from China, I can reassure you, you will get great quality, and the guys at WIGSHE are really super friendly and very helpful along the process of ordering. Now, WIGSHE says on their website that they have a great natural looking pre-plucked hairline, and I definitely agree. And of course, as always, I'm going to show you this from up close. So as you can see, the lace front is done perfectly. It runs ear to ear, which looks so natural. You also get some baby hairs up here, which makes it look even more natural, and the lace really is invisible. I think you can hardly see it. And also, the lace top is done beautifully, and I parted this on the left. When it arrives, it's parted in the middle, and I think they have pre-plucked that middle part, but I think this also looks fabulous. I will, of course, wear the part on the left side, as always. Now, I can only say that this is probably the part where other luxury human hair wigs that are more expensive maybe look even more realistic, since this hairline here is rather straight, but it's definitely comparable to synthetic wigs. And you can always pluck the hairline, which is something I also might do before I wear this out of the house. But of course, I wanted to show it to you the way it comes, and I think it's totally wearable just like this. And maybe you get an even better hairline with a luxury human hair wig, but of course you will also pay a lot more buck for that. Now, I also want to show you different ways I styled this, since you always have to style human hair wigs if you are going for a certain look and don't just want to wear her as natural as this. And also, when she arrives, she is straightened and looks like this. Now, of course, I recorded her straight out of the box, and as you can see, the lace is still intact and has not been cut yet. And there you can also see a tiny flaw this had when it arrived, and that dark rectangle you can see at the ear tab isn't the bendable stay. This wig also has bendable stays sewn in, but this is just some kind of supporting band they're sewing in to reinforce the cap maybe, and this was just a tiny little bit too long. So what I did was that I cut and opened the thread and removed a tiny part of that band that was just too long and sticking out on the side. And now, of course, it's gone and beautiful, and you don't see a thing. I mean, mistakes happen. These are all handmade, and something like that can always happen, even with the most luxurious and expensive pieces you buy. But this is something that was easily fixable. But of course, I wanted to mention it anyway, in case this happens to you as well, and you can really fix this easily by yourself. Now, after the first wash and that really natural look, I decided to straighten her with my straightener. And the great thing is you really don't have to pay that much attention on temperature as with your heat-define synthetic wigs. And of course, I was able to straighten her again. And I think when she's straightened, you really can see the low density of this style. And I also love the way she looks straightened. So this is how she looks straightened. And I think it's a completely different look, isn't it? I must say, I also love her straightened, and I think the light is reflected differently than in the air-dried or blow-dried version. I think the color looks lighter again now that she is straightened. Nevertheless, I love both looks, and also the color. And I love that the root is lighter here in front. Of course, I will show her to you from all sides in all three stylings. Okay, now let's have a look at the color outside in natural daylight. So this is how she looks after I styled her with a curling iron, and I tried to give her some old Hollywood glamour, and I guess I succeeded. At least I'm really happy how she turned out, and since it's human hair, she really curls so easily in no time. And I really had a lot of fun giving her waves. Aren't they just gorgeous? Now, this is the way I intend to wear her out of the house for the first time, and I can't wait to see what my friends have to say to her. Now, I'm really in love with this gorgeous wig and can definitely recommend her. Now, let me show her to you from all sides and with all three stylings. So here she is from all sides. So, how do you like her best? Air dried, straightened, or curled? Please let me know in the comments below. So let me give you a short recap of everything I just said. Would I order her again? I definitely would. And I think I would choose everything the same way, except for the cap size, where I would pick the small or petite cap. But other than that, I'm really happy with this style. Now, if you're also wowed by this beautiful hair and want to get her, I would love if you used my coupon code BetterHairBetterHue for a 10% discount, and you would also support my channel with it. Once again, thank you so much for WIGSHE for allowing me to review this style, and I would definitely love to try other human hairstyles and compare them to this one. I hope this review is helpful and you liked it. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to my channel so you won't miss my future videos, and there's a new one coming out each Friday. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below and I will definitely reply. Now, thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope you're well. Stay that way, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye. And today I would love to review this gorgeous wig. Since I usually only review, and you will say, if you are in Germany. Comparing it to this was the first